Afternoon everyone, it's currently Thursday afternoon and I'm between appointments. I'm about to run off to see a beautiful property in Braddon very shortly, but before I did so I wanted to spend the half an hour I've got here to plant up some of these seeds that I've accrued. These are going to all be put indoors. They're quite tropical. These are Cherimoya seeds. These are White Sapote seeds, and these are some seeds that I picked up from a tree in Adelaide. I think they called them trumpet flowers, but I'll double check that. But these are the ones that I'm really interested in. These Cherimoyas, you might have noticed in some of the other videos that I have got a real want to grow and to taste these Cherimoyas. And I found it really hard to find any Cherimoya plants, and I do have 2 trees here at the moment, and I've purchased some seeds prior and put them in and none of them came up. So I'm going to try a different method with these ones today and we'll see how they go. We'll see what sort of germination rate we get. I don't know if any will germinate. Obviously the ones I planted before didn't, so maybe just don't have a very green thumb when it comes to these Cherimoya seeds. Where is our camera? These are, I don't know if you can see that, they're quite hard. They look like a bean perhaps. They would look like a little stone, and they have a really hard outside layer. I've seen some YouTube videos where they've talked about scarifying them, so kind of scratching off the outer coating a little bit to make it a little bit easier to penetrate. But what I'm just going to do is I'm going to get all of these seeds that I have here. I'm going to use a Baggy germination method, which means I'm going to get a plastic bag similar to this. I'm going to fill it with some germination media. I'm going to keep it damp, going to put it in a warm place inside. We're going to check it every week to see once they sprout. Now if any of these seeds do end up sprouting and sending off a taproot and a leaf, I'll then transfer them into another little pot, like one of these pots here, so that they can then go into the next stage of their life. But let's see if we can't get them going for a start. Now the White Sapote, I'm going to do a little bit differently. These are going straight into a pot just because of the size of the seeds. Now these seeds are very large. They look like a citrus seed, but on a much larger scale. I'm going to put these straight into the pot with a very little bit of soil on top. I'm going to keep them warm and damp, and hopefully they'll come up quite quickly. Now unfortunately, when I was bringing these over from Adelaide, I'd wrap them in a paper towel, put them in a plastic bag, and some of them had started to develop a little bit of mold, which you can kind of see on this one here, which I'll show you a little bit closer up in just a second. As you can see, some of these seeds started to develop a mold on them. I had taken them from where I was in Adelaide and put them in, wrapped them in paper towel and put them in a plastic bag, and it's only a couple of days later, it's probably more like 4 or 5 days later, and I've noticed that they've grown this mold on them. So what I did was I sanitized it. I put in a solution of water and some sanitizing solution that you use for beer brewing and sanitizing equipment like that, and I hope that it's enough to have killed that mold off and let these White Sapote seeds germinate. Not all of them are affected. This one here, for instance, looks fine. I'm also, on the majority of these, going to cut the husk off the outside. So I've watched a few videos online where they've done that, and it seemed to have germinated the seeds with quicker results anyway. So we'll cut off the moldy areas. Might keep a couple of seeds intact, but we'll get started with that. So the potting mix that I'm going to use, I'm using coconut coir. I think that's inverted, but that's okay. This is a coconut coir seed raising mix that you can get from Bunnings. You just mix with water, and I'm going to add in some vermiculite as well. So vermiculite's an excellent seed raising mix. To use this, we just mix it with a bit of hot water. You can break the block. I'm not going to use the whole block. I'll separate a small portion of the block. It will expand in size. Mix it with the vermiculite, and then we have a nice sterile growing media which doesn't have any molds or anything like that in it. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of these White Sapote seeds and chop this outer this outer shell off. Now, some of the YouTube videos you watch with these white sapotes and people that are germinating them, they do say you can chop that off, and that will make it a little bit easier to germinate. So I'll do that now, and we'll fast forward through all of this after I've done that. But I think I'll start with the kind of the moldy looking ones, and we'll go. Maybe I'll keep some of the ones that aren't so moldy intact. Feels a bit wrong chopping seeds up like this. It feels like you're going to damage them, but I've seen it done online, and I think it can't hurt. The germ inside the actual seed, inside the plant, is being protected by this hard case. The hard case isn't necessarily part of the seed itself. I will say, however, this cutting up, oops, that's annoying. This cutting of the seed is actually a lot harder than I thought, and I nicked the seed there. I don't know if you can see this, but I just chopped a bit of the actual germ inside. Now, while removing the case might not cause any damage, definitely removing that will cause a lot of damage. So this one might be a goner to start with. That's very, very disappointing to me, but we'll plant it up anyway just in case. The trick might be then to chop them from the outside, perhaps. I was chopping it from the pointy end, I'm chopping it maybe from the long end. But I will say that this is not an easy, these are tough. There's a good chance we're going to abandon the chopping off of this outside, I think. Yeah, this is this seems to me to be a very good way to damage your seeds really quickly. So maybe we're going to keep it as nature intended. We won't chop that down anymore. I hope that by taking that little bit off of this seed that it's not totally destroyed, this particular seed. So can that. We're not chopping anything apart. I've made a little bit of, oops, this camera's hard to find. I made a little bit of a dent on where I'm starting chopping that off, but it is not easy at all. I've tried chopping these long ways when they come before you start chopping, and they've got this kind of thin bit which seems like it'd be quite easy to chop into. I did chop that off on this one, so that no longer exists, but it didn't give me an easy entry to that seed at all. And I think that I'm going to do more damage by trying to remove this this husk casing than if I just, even with the mold on it, than if I just planted it. We'll give it one more go just to see what we can do here. Oh, that might have got a little bit off the base here. You can kind of flake it off. I don't know if you can see that, but if you do it slowly and you kind of flake it like this, almost like shaving it, that seems a little bit safer perhaps. Do you know what, let's finish this one. It's going to be an extremely exciting video. You guys everywhere watching me try to remove the husk of this white sapote seed, but I think, look at that, I think that maybe some of you out there want to try it and want to see how easy or hard it actually is, and that might be of use to you, I don't know. The outside is definitely tough, that's for sure. I can see why removing it might make it easier to germinate when it doesn't have to break through that outer layer. Once you get it started, it does get a bit easier once you get a bit of a grip on it. There we go, look at that, magic. This is the white sapote seed having its case removed. So this is the leftover case with a bit of mold on it, so the case is quite strong. Inside it looks more like a bean. Now it's possible I haven't killed the seed and I might have just scratched off a little bit of the outer casing, because I can see the green germ inside the green seed, but I can't see if it's cut. I think it'll probably be okay. So the question is, do I do more of these? Let's try one more. Let's try one more. Maybe I got unlucky. The trick definitely seems to be to go for one of these ends. Now one of these ends actually opens up significantly easier than the others. So one of the ends, it seems to be quite flush to the seed, and the other end almost has a bit of a pocket of air between the husk and the bean inside. And that one there, once you get it, seems to make it a lot easier to get this damn husk off. Okay, we got a second one out of it, shell. And again, I nicked this one just a touch. I nicked a bit, just like I did with the other one. I nicked just a touch of the outer coating. I really hope it doesn't make a difference. Now I'm really stuck. What do I do? Should I do another one? One more, just 3. So if we get 3 popping up quicker than all the rest, we know that it does make a big difference. But the reason I'm persisting, even though I really think that this is a bad idea, is because the video that I watched, I think his name is Kiwi Grower, something along those lines. This one's easier. He showed the progress as he went along, and it showed that the germination times of the ones that he husked were significantly quicker, and they seem to grow more robustly as well. So that makes me feel like it is something that's potentially worthwhile doing. This one here actually came off a lot easier. Maybe I'm getting in the knack of it. I don't think I've damaged this seed either, which would be nice. Still not easy. It's another one out. I don't think I damaged this one at all, which is really nice. Seeing as I want to roll, let's do 1 or 2 more. 1 or 2 more. We'll get all the moldy ones, get all the skin off. Alright, so that one, the trick was I cut off that ridgy bit that I showed you on that other seed, and I kept shaving that ridgy bit until I could see the gap. Yeah, once you get that ridgy bit off, I think if you were to get the scissors and leave it under there without scratching the actual seed inside, that might be a way to do it. Alright, now we've got one more out. Definitely gets easier the more you do this. Outside coating, once you remove that shell, is actually very soft. It's very easy to nick it. So those 4, I'm not going to separate them from the rest when we mix them up. But if we happen to get 4 up quicker than all the others, well, I think that's a fairly good sign that it might be worth it. Now I'm going to mix up my potting soil. We're going to plant these, and then I'm going to run off to my potman. So this is the dry cocoa in the bucket. I've got 1.5 litres of water here. This is warm water. This is warm so that it gives the seeds a bit of a head start on their growing. The warmer the temperature, the quicker the germination typically. So about 1.5 litres for about maybe a little bit more than 1/4 of that block if this doesn't turn out to be enough coir, I will add into that a bit of just regular potting mix. But to me, that water looks like it's plenty. I might add in a bit more of this dry coir. Be back with the finished mix, guys. So I've finished mixing that up and added the micula. What you can see is we've got this moist, warm because of the warm water, light, airy substrate for growing our seeds in. This is a nice mix that the seeds can easily push through. It's nice and sterile so that it's not going to cause any molds or bacteria to develop, hopefully. So we'll put them in our pots, we'll get our seeds going. Okay, I've potted all of my soil, put all the soil into the pot. I've put 6 unhusked white sapote in this tray. Put 1 unhusked one here. 1, 2, 3, 4 are all husked, and we'll grab a couple of these Cherimoya seeds. We'll test this method out too. We'll put 2 of these Cherimoya seeds in this pot here, and all I'm going to do for these is I'm just going to give them a push down and very lightly cover them. And after this, they just get watered in there in these green trays because these are going inside the house. They're going to be put in a insulated growing tent, which you can buy at hydroponic stores, under a heat mat to give them plenty of heat to get started. This here is the bag that I'm going to use for my Cherimoya seeds, and for this, all I'm going to do, without getting dirty because I have to leave in literally 5 minutes for my appointment. Let's come back, I'll fill this bag up. Okay, we have 1 bag of potting mix. Just gonna grab all of these Cherimoya seeds, dump them straight in. I don't have time to do my other flowers at the moment, and they're really not on the top of my interest list anyway. So I'm just going to quickly dump these seeds in. It always looks so much easier when other people do it online. Filming and planting with one hand, I tell you what, it's not easy. So all the seeds in this pot here, in the new bag, it's all empty. And I'm just going to shake them all to the centre so that they're all in the kind of centre of that bag there. Seal this bag up. And put this in a warm, damp place as well. Done, and we'll keep an eye on this to see if any of those seeds germinate. Alright guys, thanks a lot. I'm rushing off to my appointment now. I'm going to move all these inside when I get back later tonight.